Hi folks, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me today. Well, it's Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. Often many prepper channels are basically only preaching to the choir, meaning they keep talking about preparing for some sort of disaster to people who basically probably already are. Maybe about 90% of the world's population is not prepared for any type of disaster. Or if they are prepared, very little has been done. That's why they say that if there is a world event, anywhere is between 75 and a low end to 90% of the world's population would probably be dead within a year. Yeah, I think 75% is a low number. My family knows I am a prepper. I don't prepare for one type of disaster. I prepare for basically anything. An example, there on the west coast of the United States, power was knocked out, flooding, floods, landslides, and power was out for an extended period of time, and people didn't have any way of cooking or storing their food, or I should say, keeping the food that they did have in their refrigerator and freezer from going bad. My mother lost everything in her freezer and refrigerator because of loss of power. She didn't have any way of cooking any food, but if she had purchased a cheap solar battery, she could have cooked some food with the use of a hot plate. Here's one example of a portable power station for $219 by Jackery. I like Jackery. Here's another one. I'm not familiar with it, but it's only $129. It says for outdoor camping, RV, and travel. Another one by Jackery. It's only $179. Generally, you can charge them by just plugging them into the wall or with an auxiliary solar panel. And then a lot of times people don't think about a hand crank can opener to open up cans of vegetables or soups. There's so much going on in the world today, you just don't know what could happen. Recently, President Vladimir Putin stated that Russia was against the deployment of nuclear weapons in space, and his defense ministry recently flatly denied that U.S. claims that Russia was developing nuclear-capable weapons for space. From what I gather, Congress had a closed-door secret meeting about Russia's nuclear capabilities and its attempt to develop space-based weapons. That could be either an EMP, electronic magnetic pulse, that would take out our internet. Everything runs on the internet. Your phones, your television, your power, transportation, dispatches for emergency responses. Yeah, if the internet went down, you wouldn't have water, heating, or cooling for your homes or businesses. No way to get information about exactly what is going on. Today, the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, who is the deputy secretary of the Russian Security Council, warned that Russia will launch Armageddon by nuking cities such as Washington and London if Moscow is forced to give up Ukrainian territory that has been taken according to recent reports. He said attempts to restore Russia's 1991 borders will lead to only one thing: a global war with the Western countries with the use of our entire strategic nuclear arsenal against Kiev, Berlin, London, and Washington. But mainstream media and critics say that this is a bluff designed to gain concessions from the West in Russia's war on Ukraine. Initially, too, Russia said that the buildup there along the border of Ukraine, they were not going to invade, but yet they did, and it's been an ongoing almost 3-year war. Recently, too, a Russian general, Sergei Rudskoy, who is the chief operations director of the General Staff of the Russian Armed Forces, said that NATO military personnel are taking part in the fighting in Ukraine disguised as mercenaries. They control air defense systems for operational and tactical missiles and multiple rocket launchers and are part of the assault teams, Redskoi said. Recently, Ukraine lost a major city, Avdiivka, I believe it's pronounced, and Russian state news agency TASS reported that the bodies of soldiers with Polish and American insignias on their clothing have been found in that controlled area. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what they are reporting. This has not been independently verified. Evidently, Polish farmers are protesting about the cheap grain coming in from Ukraine. These farm protests are happening all across the EU, but they have closed evidently 200 locations there in Poland, blocking the border crossing from Poland, which is also hampering taking in ammunition and different supplies to Ukraine through Poland. Farmers are saying there that storage warehouses were filled with Ukraine grain, causing prices to fall 40% last year. Demands for Polish sugar, milk, and meat has fallen. As a result, the farmers are now holding off on investments. Farmers are also concerned that the EU Green Deal, which calls for limits on the use of chemicals and fertilizers, will result in the reduction in production and income. Similar protests were going on in Spain. This here is posted on Epoch News of the farmer protests there in Athens. We all know that the inflation numbers they talk about is just bullshit. Chicken ranches that are burning down are turning into bug farms. Here's some recent numbers about dairy farms. U.S. dairy herds is now the smallest, dating back 43 months to June of 2020. December 2023 U.S. cow numbers were estimated at 9.357 million head, down by 39,000 from the year earlier. And they have the different data for different states. We got Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Minnesota, New Mexico, New York, Ohio, etc., etc. Then there's talk about the trucker strike for bringing products into New York City. I don't know how that is going. Disruption for the Red Sea. Yeah, with all that conflict that's going on there. I also found 2 Twitter posts showing that some of these vessels are actually putting razor wire on the sides of their vessels to keep the pirates off. This is one of them. Here's another one showing the razor wire on the side of some of the vessels to keep the pirates off that have been, taking the vessels through force. Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness, wow. I did not realize that it had gotten so extreme in shipping things. Yeah, crime has gotten so bad. Like I said, sometimes I feel like I'm just preaching to the choir. Yeah, are you prepping? Are you preparing for some sort of disaster? You just don't know what could happen to interfere with the goods. It could be riots. It could be a natural disaster, an earthquake, flooding, global conflicts. It's just, they even got nails on the doors. It'll show it here in a minute. It's like, wow, what has this world become? So are you prepared? Please put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. As always, please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.